pandemic restrictions in South Africa affects the social lives of humans and animals alike.
It affects penguins, as they are social creatures that rely on routine. Keepers at Two Ocean Aquariums in Cape Town claim that the strict quarantine has left the penguins feeling anxious.
Standing here, this penguin looks a bit lonely. In fact, it turns out that isolation is affecting all the penguins at the Two Ocean Aquariums in Cape Town. South Africa had one of the strictest lockdowns in the world, along with curfews, outdoor exercise bans, and even a ban on buying cigarettes and alcohol. Since the first lockdown was announced, the aquarium was closed in March and only reopened very recently. This meant instead of seeing hundreds of people a day, the colony of penguins was only interacting with their handlers, including senior animal keeper Shannon Rutgers.
During our lockdown process, we were closed for about 5 months, and in that time, our penguins haven't had any exposure to any of the people, which are mainly our visitors and our members that come through. In the first month, the birds didn't understand what's happening, and they were excited to still expect people to walk through the door and stand outside stand in a line and wait for their food and, make lots of sounds. But as time went by, the exhibits became very quiet, and our room was so quiet you could actually hear a pin drop.
According to Rutgers, penguins rely on their routine, so the enforced quarantine caused them stress.
During the time, we also had a lot of birds that were fighting and bickering and causing little problems on the beach. But at the end of lockdown, like a week ago, I found a loving couple. So I've got a cute little couple that have found love on the beach, and I'm so happy because this poor little guy is 6 years old and he's been longing for a mate, and he finally has a mate on the beach. So there's been a lot of interesting things.
Rutgers stated she has a particular soft spot for the couple's male penguin, Aya, because the 6-year-old has been longing for a mate and also lost an eye in an altercation with another penguin. Another penguin, Ayoba, celebrated his 10th birthday during the lockdown and received extra nesting materials and the honor of feeding first to celebrate.
Ayoba is one of our African penguins that have hatched out on the beach in 2000 during the Soccer World Cup season, which was about June, July, and that is how he got his name. So Ayoba is very significant and a very, very good name for our penguins. He's one of the birds on the beach, and his mate is right next to him. Actually, that's a guy standing next to him. And Ayoba, surprisingly enough, was and is still somewhat tame, and he every now and then allows us to interact with him and touch him and talk to him. And when I do call him, he does call back, and so I get this little tingle that he still remembers me and he still wants to be my friend.
There are 23 African penguins and 13 rockhopper penguins at the Two Oceans Aquariums. After 5 months of lockdown, the aquarium reopened to the public with strict social distancing and sanitation rules. With international travel still severely disrupted, CEO Michael Farquhar said they're relying on local visitors.
I'm not sure when international flights are going to open, with a bit of hope before next year, but that really depends on the second wave that seems to be happening in Europe, and we'll have to see what happens in South Africa. So we've always been driven by our locals, and the internationals for us are an add-on. What we're showing is to the South African public, it's the Two Oceans Aquarium, it's what we have on our coast, and so South Africans are the people that we really want to get the message across to anyway. Internationals are the cherry on top. So for now, it just means we need to focus more on locals.
Travel blogger Karabo Masedi says she can't bear to see the aquarium struggling too much, as it's always a popular day out for families and people who are interested in what's in their own waters.
A lot of visitors or tourists that come to Cape Town are actually traveling as family, as a big family. So you want to organize your trips in a way that's going to accommodate young kids. And what better way to actually go to the aquarium? And it's family friendly. You want to know what's in South Africa, in our oceans compared to Europe or Asia. So why not? So I think it is popular.